千里之行，始于足下。A journey of 1,000 miles begins beneath the feet. We now gather in the Tao to travel the journey together. Once upon a time, in ancient China, there was a man who had inherited great wealth. He lived in a huge mansion, and he was attended to by many servants. Also, he had many friends, and he loved to hold banquets for all his friends. Together, they would eat and drink and be merry well into the evening. Most nights, he and his friends would drink so much wine, that much of the food would be left untouched. The next morning, he would order his servants to dump the leftovers in a nearby river. And as his servants were busy doing that, following his orders, this rich man, in his mind, he was already planning the next banquet. And the next banquet will be even more extravagant. Now, the big problem he didn't realize he had was that he came into this great wealth, but he had no experience actually creating any wealth. So he spent lavishly, and his wealth dwindled day by day. There was nothing that he did that could add to it or to replenish it. So one day he was startled to realize that he had no more money left, no more money for any more banquets. Indeed, no more money for anything. His friends stopped coming. So he went out to visit them instead. He had treated them so well in the past, the endless banquets. He was pretty sure that they should now be able to help him. They should be able to lend him some money, right? To help him get past the rough patch. So guys, what do you think his success rate was with his friends? Do you think that he was likely going to be able to get his friends to lend him money? Would they help him because he treated them so well in the past? Well, that was sadly not the case. All of his friends avoided him. Even the ones who drank his wine with him and said they would always be his best, dearest, and closest friends forever. Even those avoided him like the plague. He came back from visiting his friends to find that his mansion was deserted and empty. The servants had left while he was away. He hadn't paid any of them in quite some time, so they took with them whatever valuables they could get their hands on. Yeah, even the ones who had sworn to him that they would always be his most loyal servants forever. Later, he hit rock bottom when he had to sell the mansion to pay back ruthless loan sharks. He lost everything, and he became a beggar. As a beggar, he would often go hungry. He didn't have much luck with the passerbys on the streets. So he tried to change his luck by going to a different part of town. But still, no one took pity on him. One day, he was especially hungry. No one had given him any money or food for quite some time, for several days. Just when he was about to give up, An old Buddhist monk saw him and noticed how weak he was from hunger. So the old monk, out of compassion, brought him back to the temple, to the Buddhist temple, and fed him a bowl of steaming rice porridge. The beggar ate in gratitude. He could not believe how delicious it was. So after the beggar regained some of his strength, he thanked the old monk for this kindness. The old monk, in turn, asked him how he came to such a low point in his life. The beggar said, "Me? Oh, I wasn't always like this." The beggar said, "I used to enjoy nothing but the best in life. The best food, the best wine, the best rice." A sudden thought occurred to him. The beggar said, "Actually, now that I think of it, this is a little strange. The rice I just ate, the rice I just had was top quality. It's the same kind of rice I used to eat every day, so I know it's much more expensive than what most people can get. You're only an old monk. How are you able to afford this?" The old monk said, "Well, I can show you. Follow me." The old monk took the beggar to a storage room in the back of the temple. In that room, there were many large urns, each filled to the brim with rice. The old monk explained, "Years ago, I saw that a wealthy man up the river was ordering his servants to dump the leftover food in the river. So I ordered the younger monks in this temple to go into the shallows of the river with buckets to retrieve as much of the rice as possible. As you can see, we ended up with a lot." The beggar was stunned. He was not expecting this at all. The old monk continued, "We cleaned the rice carefully, we washed it, and then we laid them out in the sun until they were completely dried. Then we stored them in these large urns you see right in front of you. There is enough here to last us for years. The dumping of the food stopped some time ago, and the wealthy man is gone. We have no idea what happened to him." In that moment, the beggar found himself face to face with his own past. He began to realize how wrong he was to be so thoughtless and wasteful. He felt great shame. It was more than he could bear. The old monk saw that the beggar was on the verge of tears. What's the matter?" The beggar said, "That wealthy man, that was me." The end. This is one of the most frequently retold stories in the Chinese culture, and there are many variations, many versions of it. The idea is always the same, though. Karma speaks louder than words. And you can see that when the beggar was the wealthy man, he definitely did not follow the Tao of cherishing his resources. So he paid the price for that. This idea, so prevalent among the ancient, traditional, authentic Tao tradition, this idea is what I was raised with. I was, from a young age, I was trained to think in this specific way, to never waste anything. So habitually, it's been deeply ingrained in me that if I'm given food, I will finish it completely. I always thought that this is normal, but then when I came to the West, I realized that not everyone thought the same. And today, East or West, I see that people definitely do not follow the Tao that I was raised with. So let me explain the perspectives that I came across and the difference that I noticed. Number one, I came across this idea. Leaving some food unfinished in your plate is a sign of prosperity. Why? Because it shows you can afford to waste some food. So that's very different than the way that I was raised. And there's more. Another idea that I came across is that if you eat all your food, other people will think you must be desperately hungry. And number three, so there's a lot more, but I'll just highlight three, for the sake of simplicity. Don't force yourself to eat what you don't like. So when I see these ideas, I definitely appreciated where they were coming from, but they definitely were different from what I thought before. Specifically, what I was thinking was, as I said, to cherish, conserve, and share resources. That includes food. And by cherishing, conserving, and sharing resources, it leads to the cultivation of contentment and gratitude. And in a moment, I'll show you how that looks in Chinese culture. Lastly, to the people who say, don't force yourself to eat what you don't like, well, I was trained to be very sure to get only what I like and can finish, so that I will finish what I get. Now, there's a lot more to this topic. I will say that my wife is the exact same way. So a lot of times when we go out, when we go someplace, and we're ordering food and we're finishing everything, I definitely get I definitely get stares from the waiter who's not expecting this kind of behavior, and perhaps the waiter is thinking that I must be desperately hungry. And I do understand some people can say that obesity is epidemic, so don't force people to finish eating everything. It's bad for them. The attitude that I want to explain from the Tao tradition is that obesity is indeed a big problem, but it doesn't mean that you have to finish everything you eat exactly. What it really means is that you should take less, rather than to take more than you can finish and then waste part of it. So very different ideas. So all of this plays into what I call the Tao of Contentment. So let me share that with you. These are Eastern concepts that a lot of times Western audience is not exposed to. So I want to be sure to present those perspectives for your consideration. So here we have 4 characters: xīfú, gǎn'ēn. Let me explain what these 4 characters mean. First, I will go character by character to explain what they are literally, and then I will provide the translation. So with these 4 characters, we have the first character there, meaning to cherish. Second character, 福, means prosperity. Third character there, 感, to feel, 恩, like gratitude for saving grace. So when you put it together, it doesn't quite make an English sentence. Cherish prosperity, feel gratitude. Okay, I kind of see where you're going, but what does it mean really? What is the correct translation? What it means is that you should cherish all the good things you already possess and feel deeply grateful for having them in your life. So this leads to the Tao. Tao sages know that when this is missing, when you have no thoughts to cherish the prosperity that you already possess, the good things you already possess, you also have no gratitude for possessing them, then you never quite feel like you have enough. You feel a lack of contentment. So you are forever chasing after things. So in Buddhist teachings, this is specifically identified as a manifestation of a dukkha. It's the dukkha of not being able to get what you want. Indeed, it's an emptiness that seems to feel like you will never have enough. So dukkha becomes a form of suffering or imperfection. When you do possess this particular Tao, you naturally feel content and happy. So this is the connection between your feelings and your level of happiness that you can enjoy as you undertake this journey in your life. So for everyone, what I would suggest is that I do understand that there are always things that we're looking for, things that we want. But just having what you already have, life, friends, family, this is actually a great source of happiness as it is. You don't actually need to go somewhere to have this kind of happiness. It's actually right in front of you. It's actually something that's already within reach. You just need to appreciate, and as I say here, to cherish. Our meeting has come to an end, but the journey continues on. Let us travel safely. Until next time, may the Tao fill you with peace and happiness.